for the school and not saddle it with a massive amount of new debt. To illustrate a little bit further how the debts tie often with local government. The property taxes start to go up, they have debts to service, or they get these goofy ideas in economic development, and it's all to appeal to and draw people in and so forth. So government becomes the driver of so-called economic development. And we have an Iowa State economist, he's kind of rare, but he's come out and said very openly that government infrastructure, schools, firehouses, and all those sort of things come after economic growth and development. They don't drive it. And so many people see in a distorted view of economics that the government expansion of debt and spending is somehow good for the economy. It helps a few special interest people, but in the big picture, it's very dangerous. And with high debts often come high taxes. You will see in one of the handouts, it's kind of tough to read it. It's a table from the Nebraska Department of Revenue. Valley County's collective property taxes for the whole county in 2008 from 2007 for all jurisdictions was $8,336,000 total property taxes collected. The increase from the year before was 17.56%. 17.5% increase in property taxes in 1 year. Where'd that rank you? Number one in the state of Nebraska. No county had a greater percentage increase in taxes than Valley County last year. As I told the CARE committee, something's gone a bit awry with local government spending and accountability to the people. If you keep this pace up, which this proposal could accelerate it, and I've seen counties where they pass school bond issues where young families come to the school board and plead with them not to sign the bond and put the tax on. We can't live here if we're going to have to start looking for another place, another community outside of town and commute in or whatever. Rapidly increasing property taxes. It seems counterintuitive. It comes right down to their family pocketbook, and you'll drive young families out more than you will. The new school will draw anything in. Now let's talk about the school. I want to review a little bit on the enrollment numbers. This graph here is headlined Oregon Public Schools junior senior enrollment. Excuse me, I should have put junior senior high enrollment. Your enrollment, and this is the fall membership count according to the Department of Education for the state of Nebraska, was a little over 310 in 2001. It's now under 260 as of 08-09. So you lost around 50 students. Thus, crowding issues start to ease themselves internally. Yeah, I know there's class scheduling and so forth, but you're building space right now because you're losing your children. Then another one I'd like to review as quick as I can here. It's a graph that's got Oregon Public School average daily attendance K-12 versus total financial costs. We took the school's budget published in the quiz. We took the actual numbers from 07-08, went to the Department of Education's website and matched the total disbursements in each fund so we could come up with that exact number. So we knew exactly how they were calculating that number. From there, we went back and totaled up those total disbursements of all those accounts going back to 2000, 2001. We think we got a pretty fair comparison. And then the 08-09 is obviously actuals plus estimates to finish. And then 09-010 on that graph is what was published as the new budget for the Oregon School District. Now, this graph here, and you have to have the one that has it's a 2-point graph, bar charts and a line graph overlaying it. The bar charts are the total cash disbursements and transfers by the school district. On the left side of your graph is the dollar amount that correlates with that. Overlaying that on this grid is the student enrollment, average daily attendance, K-12 for the whole school district, and that comes across as a line graph over those same years. So what you're seeing is a rapidly rising budget of the school district overlaid by a significantly declining overall enrollment. Now, you'll see the obvious blip is when the small schools by state law were merged in, the grade schools. And so the blip came back up there, but by the next year, 07, 08, it's back down again. If you go with the fall population numbers of 08, 09, which is a different way of counting than the average daily attendance, I'm guessing it's going to be down more for that year. And so as your expenses are going up, 2000, 2001, you're a little over $4.5 million. That's right off the Department of Education's website. If they continue at the proposed rate increase of this coming year, in the next year or two, you will probably have doubled the total cash outlays of the school district while the enrollment's going down. This is a recipe for great financial hardship coming. There'll be lots of steps in the middle along the way to kind of ameliorate or offset the harm. But state aid's tied to the declining enrollment. Lots of factors all start kicking in. And this is before you vote to approve a $9.8 million bond issue. Now they're going to argue there's some adjustments to this figure if the bond issue is passed, but when it's done, it's our position will be at least this and more in the coming few years. That trend doesn't work. They're going to have lots of finesses as to why we don't understand the process and so forth. But every time I've seen this trend and the bond issue passes, it's a matter of a year or two, and there's real financial hardship in the school district. And maybe some of you saw the letter to the editor from Bob McConnell from Washington, Iowa. Yep, I called him up. I said, Bob, you're a hard left Democrat. I'm anything but that. You're big for the public schools. You're big. His wife was a PhD in chemistry, worked for Monsanto, was on the school board, and the harm that's come to the Washington, Iowa school district as a result of what they've done and how they haven't listened has broken his heart. And his peer teachers and union members are not listening and they're not understanding. But now they're starting to listen because the heartaches come. In Iowa, we have a foolish sales tax thing. The voters have turned it down in Washington, Iowa 4 times. And the board came out and said, forget it. We're going to go with the sales tax and bond against the special revenue bond. We're not even going to take your general obligation bond. They still don't understand that trouble's coming with that kind of debt. So there's your overall budget. There's what you're facing. Here's the average daily, this is the same enrollment, but this graph, you don't have this one, but this graph is the total financial costs per student. So your per student costs are exploding and they're over $12,000. We compared it to North Loop and, help me out here, Burwell, like 5 or 6 other school districts, Broken Bow, and you beat them all on a per student basis. You're spending more than all 5 or 6 neighboring schools that we took a look at. With that, I think I've kind of covered my basic introduction for now. I'm going to turn it back over to Larry. Then he has a couple of the other men in the committee. We're going to start filling out some more information for you that you may want to consider why you may want to vote against it. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. There's 2 things that you cannot escape in this life. That's death and taxes. And I'm not quite so sure about death. I do know taxes. I think we need to review